So, welcome to Yeet Talk. No LinkedIn
Thank
bullshit,
you.
no grind life, just real conversations with people about money, regrets, and what they have to sacrifice to do what they do. I'm Michael Spinelli, and today I'm sitting down with Angie, owner of Thren's Auto Parts in Hamburg, Pennsylvania, a family owned business since 1937. Whoa. Angie, you ready for this?
I am. Thank you for
Oh,
having
awesome.
me.
Well, all right, let's get into it. So, how did your family get into the auto parts biz? Like the real story. We're talking the tail end of the Great Depression. Incredible.
So it was my great grandfather, Clayton Bolts, that started it in 1937. He was here in Hamburg, Pennsylvania, and he was mayor of Hamburg. And he owned quite a bit of properties, and he decided to open up a store. And so the original store, though, was more than auto parts. So we had anything from toys to pantyhose for
Cool.
women, which some people might even not know what pantyhose are, but pantyhose for women, luggage, we did fishing license, we did gun licenses, ammunition. So it was more like not a variety store, but definitely more of a like a mini department
Awesome.
store.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was my dad's mom's dad. So when my grandmother met my grandfather, he came in. He was from Reading, my grandfather. So he came into the business, came to Hamburg, married my grandmother, came in it. And then he was the second generation. So that's where Threns comes from because, like
Got
I
it.
said, my great grandfather was a
Got it.
Bolts, but then my grandfather was a Thren. So yeah, so then my grandfather took it over, and then they had three kids. My dad is the oldest. The second is a son. Was a teacher. He did not come in the store at all. And then the third was a daughter who she did not come in the business at all either. But when my dad was later in his high school years, my grandfather became ill. He had a stroke. He had not lung cancer, throat
Wow.
cancer. So my dad came in the store pretty much like
Had
full
to.
time yeah, he had to. It
Right.
wasn't a choice. So he and my great grandfather Clayton were extremely close. So our original store was down on State Street in Hamburg, which is we're still in town, but we're kind of on like the little outskirts of
Right.
town now. We have a large building with a parking lot, which the one in town was you were constricted with parking because of being in
Makes
town.
sense.
But so there was an apartment above that store. So that's where my great grandfather lived. So he was always at the business. But then my dad took it over, and then my dad and my mom met, and then my brother came along, I came along, and my brother always wanted to come in the
Oh,
store.
cool.
Um, I did not. I vowed I would never, ever work in the
Whoa.
store. But yeah, that was 20, my son's 26. So that was 25 and a half years ago that I came back
So, how
into the
did you
store.
get in this?
So, one stipulation my parents always had for my brother and I both was that we had to go to either a trade school, associate school, or get your
Okay.
bachelor's degree. So, my brother went to business school, so he has his associate's degree. I went to a 4 year college. I have my bachelor's degree in marketing. So, I got a job as a marketing coordinator right out of college, and I traveled a lot. So I was really fortunate. I've been with my husband since I'm 15.
Wow.
So I graduated college, I got married, we had a child right away, and I was leaving to go out of town, and I was taking my son, who was only a couple months old, to my mom's house, and I spilled coffee on his leg. And I actually gave my 2 week notice at
Right.
that time because I knew I had this child and I wanted to raise
Right.
this child. So I asked my parents, can I
Oh
come in
my
the store?
gosh.
And they said yes. So, and like I said, my son's
It's
26.
funny how these
So,
vows were like, I'll never do this, but then kids come along, you're like, oh shoot, I gotta do what's best for these little rugrats.
absolutely, absolutely
So way
amazing.
back when, I was curious, Was there any sort of like the Bolts are like, no, you're not changing the name? Did that come up?
So we were a Western Auto Associates
Okay,
store. And actually, the person who could give you like so much history on this is my
cool,
brother. I'm not the history buff. He is the
cool.
history buff. But it was Western Auto Associates store, and they actually went under. So, and don't quote me
Sure.
on all this because, like I said, I'm not up on all the history. So, Western Auto had a hostile takeover. So, Western Auto, Advance, and Sears, there was something with all three of them. So we got a letter. I do remember this. We got a letter in the mail saying that we only had so many months to retain the Western Auto
Okay,
name, that we'd have to change
got
it.
it.
So my parents' train of thought on that was our last name's never going to
Sure.
change. So let's make it Thren's Auto
Smart.
Parts. So it's very funny. So from being here in town and, having the generations of customers that we have, we still have people who come in and say, "Oh, hey, it's Western Auto to me," or they'll call and they'll be like, "Is this
What
Western
is that?
Auto?" And my brother and I always say, "Yes, we will always be
Oh,
Western
nice.
Auto."
So it was never called Bolts. It was always this Western Auto. Okay,
No,
that makes sense.
correct,
Because,
correct. Yeah, we actually still have, so from the
uh-huh.
old building in town, we actually have the aluminum
Oh, that's
sign,
cool.
and we've been offered
Oh,
thousands and thousands of dollars for it. And it actually, the only one missing piece to it is my great grandfather's name. There was a plate that had his
oh
name on
man,
it, and my dad can't
dang
find
it.
that.
Uh,
But yeah, it's pretty cool. We have it out on our
Oh,
floor.
good.
If you look at the website,
Yep,
you can see it.
yep, yep.
So yeah.
Well, that's awesome. What is different about running an auto parts store now versus like 25 years ago?
Definitely 25 years ago, looking back, it was us and Napa here in town, and you didn't have online buying. Online buying is definitely our hardest competition because we are a brick and mortar
Yep.
store. So obviously we have, taxes, we have insurance, we have, all the expenses that come with it. Um, we do very well with our local competition. We have a Napa, an Advance, an AutoZone, pretty close proximity to us. But because when you come into Thren's Auto Parts, you're getting customer
Right.
service, you're getting care, you're getting someone like, I'll be honest, if I take 10 people, I probably know nine people's names. I know their cars. Like I know they can come in and, I had a lady just yesterday and she's like, "I have my car out there. I don't know what it is, but I need wipers." And she goes, "I know you'll take care of
Yep.
it."
Yep.
So, I go out, I change them, there's no fret of, not knowing what your car is, not knowing what size they are. Um, so that has been a big change is
Yep.
online. And that's a hard
Mhm.
competition because we definitely we're not always the cheapest, we're not always the most expensive, but we want you to have something quality. And a lot of
Love that.
times people people unfortunately look for the almighty price, and I totally encourage everyone to price shop. The only thing that I always encourage people who price shop is please compare apples to
Exactly.
apples. You want to get something cheap. And don't get me wrong, you may have a 30-year-old vehicle that you are just trying to put a band aid on to get you through inspection until you can afford a new
Right.
car. Then we are going to sell you a cheap
Yep.
part for that. But also, you have the expectation that that part might not last for the next
Yep.
10 years.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, online is definitely the big difference the last
How
25
cool.
years.
And uh, all the times we've spoken in the past, it's like coming to Thren's is like why you would go to Ace versus Lowe's or some of the big box shops. It's because it just feels different.
Oh, absolutely. It was very cool. So when I was pregnant with my son, I obviously wasn't in the store because that was
Right.
before, but I was pregnant with my daughter in the store, and I saw such an extraordinary side of
Hmm.
people. I had guys who that I never met their wives, but they now came in, they bought me baby gifts, they knitted me
Wow.
blankets. As soon as I started showing, I couldn't carry
Yeah.
anything. Like every single person was like, "Oh, no, 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 I got that. I got this." So that was really cool. And especially my daughter, because she was my second one and I was in the store with her, she was
Mhm.
here a lot. I mean, there were times that I was feeding her a bottle waiting on a customer. So they find it cool because now she's helping me
Right.
out. So they find it cool that that was the baby who was getting fed a baby bottle. Now she's 24. So that's really cool.
Absolutely. Do clients that come in, I mean, the customers, do they come in and kind of expect something that's impossible to deliver these days?
Definitely expectations are
Okay.
higher. People have definitely come to rely on us to solve their problem. And when we can't, I definitely try to come up with a solution for them because they'll say, well, where am I
Huh.
going then? And it is harder to get parts. COVID has been a big component of that. A lot of we've definitely always been known to get, and this is my
Mhm.
brother's side. You come in with like a 64 Chevy Nova or something. We were always able to get those parts for those
Yeah.
vehicles. COVID really changed that because a lot of places got approached by restoration companies and sold
Mm.
out. Like they just took their inventory and now you can't find the stuff. So that's definitely on the harder
Interesting.
side. But yeah, like yesterday, for example, I had a guy that came in and my brother waited on him and he brought this very large piece of paper and he traced out the radiator hose that he needed. And he had all the sizes, the measurements, and stuff like that. And my brother was actually able to, it took a little bit of time, but like went back, found it, and got him fixed up.
That's incredible. So it
So,
wasn't obviously exactly for that vehicle, but he made it work because it was the same specs.
correct, correct. Because he had it
Genius.
modified and everything else. Yeah, it was like a Dodge with like a small block
Oh, I
350
love
Chevy
it.
in. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing, like, too. Like, when you have people who are working on older
Hmm.
things, a, a lot of the people understand, like, nothing is computer lookup. It's all like you have to bring the
Hmm.
part in and we match it up or we, try to figure it out. Like I said, I give my brother all the credit for that. He is really good at that. That's definitely not my
Yes,
forte.
you both have different strengths, and that's what makes it work.
Oh,
Oh, I
definitely.
love it. What would surprise your customers about how this industry actually works versus what they see?
Um, I don't think a lot of people realize the amount of hours my brother and I put
Oh,
in.
interesting.
um, because we don't get weeks and weeks vacation. I think a lot of people think because we're self-employed and it's our business and it's a family business that we get time anytime
Yeah.
we want off. It does not work that way. I mean, there's been plenty of days that I've come in sick, my brother's come in sick. I've had to cancel a vacation. Um, we do have aging parents, so that is an issue. My dad will be 80 and my mom just turned 79 last week. And they still come in, they still help, and they definitely give us a little bit of a break here or there. But we work six
Sure.
days. Like it's 6 days a week. And, I wouldn't trade it for the
Hmm.
world because I get to see my family every day. And like I said, my daughter's helping right now. My brother's oldest son, he just turned 12
Wow.
yesterday, and he started helping out. So it's definitely very unique in that
Hmm.
aspect, but I I think that people miss the boat on like my husband gets 7 weeks
Oh my
vacation.
gosh.
I only dream
Yeah.
about a week. Yeah. So that is one thing. My brother and I have to visit that when something happens with my
Yeah.
parents because I don't see us bringing more people in because that's a huge
Oh,
trust
big time.
factor.
From theft to everything
Huge.
else.
Well, and when you are a family business, everybody wants Scott or I
Right.
to wait on them. So then you bring somebody else in who's not family. Oh, well, I don't want you to. I'll wait
It would
for
have to be
Scott.
Maddie
I'll
or
wait
your
for him.
son or someone like that.
Yes, yes, yeah. So yeah, I'd say that's the biggest thing people
Hmm.
don't realize, just the amount of time um, that goes into a week.
Wow. Do you ever feel like you're winging it more than people think? You know, even after all these years, it's
Oh,
impossible to have
absolutely.
seen everything. Like,
Fake it till
yeah,
you make it.
right? Any quick story on something like that that's happened recently?
Hmm. I have that probably on a daily basis some days.
Me too.
People come in and they'll explain something, and I'm gonna be really honest with you, Michael. I have no clue what they're
Yep.
talking about. But you know what? I am not a fan of AI, but I am a fan of AI for
It
that.
does help.
Like I'll put something in the computer. What was it the other day? Some guy was in, and I didn't even have a clue what he
Oh,
was
I
talking
that's
about. And if I put it in AI, like I'm
yeah.
talking to him, and I had the keyboard down a little bit, so he didn't even know I was typing. Oh, when I came up with the solution, and he was like, "Oh, this is why I come here. They would have never figured this out anywhere
Yes.
else." And I was like, "Thank you,
Yes.
AI."
Absolutely.
Um, I do have to say though, like a lot of the job, I don't want to say is
Uh-huh.
repetitive, but like cars definitely there's a
Hmm.
pattern. Like, if you really listen, like I always say, mechanics. So, this is a good example. So, when I was a kid, my dad always kept a pair of pantyhose in the back of the car. And I never understood why. The reason why was because if your belt blew, you got the pantyhose out, you tied the pantyhose to the length of the belt, and you could get yourself
Oh
home.
wow.
Okay. We always had a thing of pepper in the back. Again, I never understood why. Pepper is what you put in if you have a coolant leak, and you put that in. So like mechanics before like actually like would listen to the vehicle and understand. Nowadays I don't think we're so much like a mechanic. I think we're more of like a computer operator that we plug something into the car, and the computer then tells you this is what you have to
Right.
go to. Now, in their defense of current mechanics, we didn't have all those computers back, when you could use a pantyhose for a
Sure.
belt or salt, pepper. Um, you almost have to plug it in, because to try to tell like what computer sensor is bad would be really
Oh, for
hard.
sure.
Every car has a symptom. It's kind of like a person. Like if you have a cough, your cough is coming from somewhere. Well, if you have a screech like in your brakes, well, it's coming from somewhere. So it could be a clip. It could be, something's not sliding properly. Um, a lot of things are repetitious, and just from time, you figure out like, okay, that's what their problem is.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
in an old sales job, there was this guy who was a big car buff, and we had a auto parts or a mechanic just down the road. He could hear what was wrong with the car as it drove by,
Oh, that's my
which
dad.
was just amazing to me. So that's your dad?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Completely. When someone comes in and they start telling me like what noises car makes and
Yeah.
stuff like that, I'm like, you want to talk to my dad. And that is one thing. And people do know this. I don't bullshit anybody. Like, if I
Mm.
don't know, I'm not going to lead you down a road of
Right.
guessing
Right.
or, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Like, I want you leaving here knowing exactly what your problem is.
Even if you can't fix it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. We have this one mechanic that comes in. He is the nicest guy. If you ever watched Back to the Future and
Yep.
Doc, the guy, black trench coat, hair kind of everywhere, this is
So
exactly this
cool.
guy. Okay. He can figure anything out on a car. It is amazing. So he was in the one day, and we had a young kid in, and he was having an issue with the brakes on an old Chevy
Hmm.
pickup truck, and he overheard it. And he came back the next day with a diagram hand drawn
Wow.
of exactly what the problem was. And Michael, that was the problem. Like he didn't even know this kid. Like it was just this young kid that was in, and my dad was trying to help him. And this gentleman's name's Tim. And Tim just happened to stand there, and he listened to it. And the next day he brought in a hand drawn
From memory.
diagram of exactly, all from
That's
memory,
incredible.
of exactly what to look at. Well, my daughter had the same thing. So my daughter drives a Ford Escape, and she had this like, eh, eh, eh. And I took it to three mechanics. Nobody could figure it out. My dad couldn't figure it out. My husband couldn't figure it out. He comes in the one day, and I said, "Do you have a little time on your hands today?" And he's like, "Why? What's up?" I said, "Can you take my daughter's car for a ride?" He took it for a ride. He was back in under 5 minutes. Here it was underneath on a Ford Escape, because you have the lift gate at the back. Above the exhaust, there's a heat shield. Well, the heat shield, from over time, the screws come loose and they need new washers to put on. And that's what less than 5 minutes, this man
Tim's
figured
a
it out.
genius.
So I refer a lot of people to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. What's his business name? We good?
Well, actually, he just
Oh
retired.
no. All the good ones.
So yeah, He just retired and he still does a couple
Sure.
things on the side and
We
he
won't
still
give him a
helps
shout
us
out
out.
then.
But
He doesn't need it.
yeah, but yeah, kudos to him. Doc on Back to the
Wow.
Future.
All right, so quick sponsor break. This show is sponsored by Yeet Websites. Yes, it's my company, which is why I make sure every company that comes to us gets white glove service at no extra charge. Whether it's a new website, getting found on Google, or both, we'll take care of you. Check out our case studies at yeetwebsites.com. All right, Angie, let's keep going. Um, so, what keeps you up at night? I know you're working 6 days, but there's got to be something that you're like, oh man, yeah, this, that, or the other.
I'm definitely a perfectionist. Like, my life definitely I'm very set in my ways. I'm very and it's funny because my dad's that way. So I definitely get it from him. Um but definitely if something's not flowing right for me, that definitely bugs me. I'm very disciplined in my day. I'm very disciplined in my work life, my home life. I would say that. I wish I could be a little less of a perfectionist, but it's also who I
We're
am.
big time
So,
type A. Like
big time.
there's no getting around it. I got a certain process, and I love to cook, and my drawers are organized. And if someone messes with my drawers, I'm like, no.
Oh, my Tupperware drawer. My husband messes it up all the time, and I'm like, "Do you not understand those?
Yes,
The lids go a certain
yes,
way."
yes.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's hard to process. We got to be efficient because we get a lot done.
very much so.
You had mentioned, obviously the lack of vacation, whatever. If you walked away tomorrow, you know, what would fall apart? Would Scott hold it together?
No, we're the glue. We're together. If one walks away, the other one would walk away.
So what?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Unfortunately,
and what would you do instead? Because 25 years ago, you're like, I'm never doing this. What was your dream before Threads?
oh, I wanted to be a buyer for Calvin Klein.
Oh, how you talking about
Yeah.
fashion? Look at you.
Yes, I wanted to be a buyer for Calvin Klein. That was like my dream job when I went into marketing. But as I said,
Huh.
I've been with my husband since I'm
Sure.
15, and I wouldn't change that for the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Like, I'm married to my best friend. I couldn't have a better
Yep.
husband. I have two great kids. We're actually married 28 years. We've been together 35.
Awesome.
Um, if I've learned anything in life, money and success does not buy you happiness. It's the joy you have with your
Wow.
partner. And I'm truly blessed with my husband. He is definitely, he'll tell everyone that I'm the rock, but he's definitely my rock.
I love
So,
that. Oh my
yeah.
gosh. So when someone's shopping for anything fashion, they call you up and say, Angie, which one should I pick?
Um, no, I think I just like the business part of
Oh,
it.
interesting.
Like, yeah, yeah. I'm definitely very
Hmm.
analytical. It's funny because my son is very analytical.
Nice.
I think I wanted the hustle and
Yeah.
bustle, but then when I had a child and I traveled so much, I didn't
No,
want the
you
hustle
can't.
bustle.
Yeah. You'd have to sacrifice
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. I mean, God bless people who
Hmm.
do it. Like, that's amazing to me that you can find that. But I also didn't want to be the parent who missed
I
anything.
know.
Like, my husband and I made everything, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. Like that, I al- I always viewed you can't get those years back.
Yeah. Well,
So
on that note, the businesses can cost you time, but it sounds like it hasn't cost you the relationship with your kids.
not at all,
Awesome.
not at all. Yeah, no, it did give me flex. I mean, there were times that the soccer game started at three
You're
o'clock, and I got
race.
there at two
Yeah.
59,
Yeah.
and I'm on the sideline, and okay, now it's 4 o'clock. Okay, I got to run
Yep.
back to work.
Yep.
And I did. So my kids were heavily involved in sports, and which was fantastic. But that was my
Hmm.
vacations. So that was my time to go with them. So we weren't big like Bahama
Hmm.
people but it's funny because my kids are big travelers now. Both of my kids are big into traveling European, and I'm not into that.
Well, when you have responsibilities, you either complain to someone about it, or you decide like this is what I'm doing and this is more important, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, it's really interesting you say that because so I'm heavily into
Nice.
yoga. And recently we had a new moon session, and this one girl brought up she was having some issues being stuck in her daily routine and stuff like that. And this one young girl said, tomorrow morning when you wake up and put your feet on the floor, tell yourself that you are very fortunate that you got
Yep.
up and you can go
Yep.
to work and you have a job. And I actually like I thought about that and I did it the next
Feels
day.
wonderful.
And wow, like what a great day I
Yeah.
had. Like it wasn't like, okay, I'm going to work for the next 10 hours, you know? Like I really took that
Yeah.
approach and I can't wait to see this young girl at yoga just
Oh,
to say
ask
to
her
her,
for sure.
I want to thank
Yeah.
you. I just want to thank you
Yeah.
for saying that. And I want to find out the other girl if she did it.
How fascinating.
Because what a total
Hmm.
mind shift that was of, you know what? I am really fortunate I can get up. And that is the one bad part of my job though. So because I've seen so many people age, and stuff like that, I've had a lot of customers who I've seen go through cancer, heart disease, have passed, I try to go to all my customers if I know that they have a viewing or
Right.
something. I try to go to pay my respects to their families.
That's so incredible.
Because if it wasn't for my customers, I wouldn't have a
Right.
job. But that, like I said, it's a great part of my job because now, like, I wait on my classmates' kids.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so
That's
they'll come in and they'll be
yes.
like, "Hey, my mom said, you did this in high school," or,
Oh
"Hey, my
my
dad
gosh.
said," so that is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Um,
I mean, that's
yeah,
legacy.
so it's like a catch
Yes.
22.
So it hasn't cost you, it's given you the relationships. And from that, probably incredible health because when you have people coming to you and there's that kind of memory embedded that you're a part
Oh,
of,
absolutely.
and what does that feel like?
Yes. Feels amazing. It feels amazing. I always tell people if for some reason my brother and I would shut the
Yeah,
store down, move on or whatever, I would miss my people.
absolutely.
Like, so it's funny. So we have a grocery store. So imagine like right in front of you is our store, and there's a grocery store that is literally, oh, maybe like 500 feet
Close.
from us. When I go to the grocery store, it's like every aisle. Hi, Angie.
Oh
Hi, Angie.
man,
Hey, do you have this?
you're
Hey,
famous.
I'll be over, you know. So my husband always laughs at me because I go to the grocery store that's like literally 10 miles down the road. And he's like, why do you
Yeah,
do that? And I'm like, because sometimes I need to just grocery
right.
shop and like come home.
Otherwise, it's an extra 30
So,
minutes.
right, but it's
It
a great
is.
thing. It's a great thing. But it's very funny. So we have it's the grocery store and then it's a
Yeah.
medical center. And the one doctor that now has retired is one of my parents'
Mm.
neighbors. And I always made it a point outside of the doctor's office, I never asked for any type of advice or, hey, this is bugging me because I'm like, I know how it feels. Like, and don't get me wrong, I would never take away how people approach me because I'm
Yes.
grateful that they feel comfortable and they want to. Um, but it's funny because sometimes I'm like, can I just get my eggs and bread and just keep going?
So when's the last time you actually checked out for a week, your week and went somewhere else?
Oh my God, that was like maybe, was it last year?
Oh, that's not bad.
Actually, no, my husband and I are actually one of our vendors. They have that we buy our parts from. They are out of Indianapolis, and they have a connection to the Colts, which is Lucas Stadium, and we actually sell Lucas products in our store. So my husband is a huge
Cool.
49ers fan, and they're playing Monday Night Football the Monday before Christmas. So he got me two box
Oh,
seats at the 50-yard
yes.
line in their suite. We get to go meet the players on the
Oh my God.
field.
This is
So
legit.
yeah, so we're going. It is legit. Well, let's put it this way: the tickets aren't in my Ticketmaster account
Okay.
yet.
But you'll get them.
But he told me that it comes closer to the
Yeah.
date. Um, but there's a restaurant called St. Elmo's out in
Okay.
Indianapolis, and they're taking us out on Sunday night, and that's where the players
This is
go
the
to
full
eat.
thing.
This is like a total, bucket list
No,
for my
yeah.
husband. So yeah, so we're really excited. So we're
Mhm.
driving. So we're gonna drive out on Saturday and then see the game Monday night and then come home
Oh my
Tuesday.
gosh. I'll have to call you
Yeah.
after to
So
see that's incredible. Good for him. And the
well, it's so funny. So I'm a huge Caitlin
okay.
Clark fan,
Yeah, me too.
and he always says to me, when are you coming out? When are you coming out? Like I'll
Yeah.
get you tickets. We have a connection at Bainbridge, and I'm like, okay, okay. Well, then she didn't play, so I'm like, well, I'm not coming out if she's
Right.
not
There's no
playing.
point.
So when they came in last time to do their little
Yeah.
sales check, I was like, "Hey, you offered me Colts tickets at some point in time. Is that offer still
Oh,
there?"
interesting.
And
Nice segue.
yeah,
Smart.
yes. So Taylor Swift was actually at Lucas Stadium when she was doing her tour, and I sent him an email, and
Any
I was like,
chance?
"I know this is really far fetched." They actually got 20,000. So what they did is they didn't give them to
Yeah.
anybody. They did it for a charity event and they
Oh,
auctioned
for
them and
sure.
they got
Oh yeah.
twenty
Out
thousand
of
dollars
this world.
for those
Yeah.
tickets. Yeah. I'm like, holy mackerel. But kudos, like, they did a local charity. It went
Oh,
right to
nice.
them,
Nice.
$20,000. Um, yeah. So Taylor Swift wasn't in my future.
But this other for your husband, how incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, big subject. When your parents eventually step back, does that excite you or terrify you?
Um, that's a good question. One, it terrifies me because I can't imagine my life without my
Yeah.
parents. I'm a very real person though. Like, I'm very open about talking about, sickness,
Sure.
death,
Me too.
stuff like that. Um, but I also see my parents every
Such a
single
blessing.
day. So that is going to be really hard to not see my parents on a daily basis. Um, I think though, I think we'll be okay. I think we have a good foundation. Like I've taken on a lot of my dad's roles. My dad's the analytical, the number person. My mom's like the back office, bill payer, stuff like that. I've I know to do most of her
Nice.
job. Um, my brother does all the ordering. Um, so business wise, I think we'll be
I have no
fine
doubt.
of responsibilities. But things, unfortunately, I think there'll have to be some modifications of maybe hours or like, when we go on vacation, we might just have to
Right.
close, like
Right.
restaurants do. Hey, for the week of whatever, we'll
Oh,
make it
for
work.
sure. But emotionally, I feel like that would be such a big change.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. That'll be really
Uh-huh.
hard.
I mean, the little bit I haven't talked to your dad very much, but I talked to your mom a little bit. She seems so sweet, and just not having that around. And maybe they're at home or vacationing or enjoying their life or whatever, but they're just not there. And then people come in and they sort of expect to see the four of you. They would love to see obviously you and your brother, but I just think it'll be a strange little transition for everybody.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, I'm very thankful like my husband doesn't have his parents anymore. They died in their early 70s. My parents being, my dad going on 80, my mom 79. They're both still of really good health. I mean, they've had hiccups, don't
Sure.
get me wrong. But they both function still really, really, really well. Um, yeah, it'll be hard. But I'm also the type of person who when a person lives their life, like you celebrate their life.
Absolutely.
Like you celebrate the memories, you celebrate the wonderful things that you got to experience with them. Like and like I said, I know not everyone's comfortable talking about it, but like I'm actually really comfortable talking about being born, living and
Yeah.
dying.
It's part of the process.
It is. Kind of like paying taxes.
I think it would be cool if you created like a memory wall of them throughout the years. Oh,
Well, we have that with my great
yeah.
grandfather. We have some pictures of like when he had the store and he's standing there, and it's very funny because people always say, who is that gentleman? And we'll say that was our great grandfather. So yeah, so that is something we're not very good at taking
I know
pictures.
it's
That's
hard.
something we need to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in all these years, has anything almost made you want to quit?
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, it gets frustrating sometimes, but I also firmly believe every job has weeds in their
Yeah.
grass. So it doesn't matter what you do. It's part of life,
Yeah.
you know, good with bad.
If your kids said they wanted to take over Threns, would you be excited, or would you try to talk them out of it?
I'd be okay with my daughter, but I wouldn't be okay with my son. My son has done very well for himself. He works from home.
Nice.
So for him to transition from working from home to working in a brick and
Hmm.
mortar store would be really
Oh
hard,
yeah.
really hard. I mean, they definitely could have the opportunity. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Um, but my daughter sees it a lot more, so that's why I think I'd be
She
comfortable with
knows
her.
the reality
Um,
day in
yes,
day out.
yes. My son definitely has himself established in what he's doing, and hey, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm glad he's, being successful and he's doing great. It's not retail's not for everybody.
Oh God, no. Retail can be a
I
nightmare
mean,
if
it's
you're the wrong person. Like you're obviously outgoing and easy to
yes,
talk to and everything. That's everything.
yes, completely, completely.
I don't know if you've seen these posts, but everyone on LinkedIn posts, running a business is the best decision I've ever made. Knowing what you know now, if you had to finish this sentence, what would you say? Running a business is
It's very rewarding.
awesome.
Yeah, it's very rewarding. Like and I've said this before, I love my
Yes.
customers.
Yes,
Like
that's everything.
I just love, I love when someone comes in and, I can help them and I make a difference in their
Right.
life. Um, it is, and I always say to people, like, being a nurse or a doctor is
Yeah.
very rewarding, but you can kill somebody. Like, I
Right.
can't kill you. Like, I'll tell you the wrong part and you'll probably be pissed at me for a little bit, but like, I'm not gonna kill you.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like I have the safe job of like helping people and being a difference in people's
Yes.
lives. Um, but yeah, it's very rewarding. I mean, yes, it's very challenging. It's easy to go work a 40-hour job, punch your time clock, and out the door
Yeah.
you go. Um, but yeah, rewarding. We're gonna leave it
The
at that.
legacy you're building through the generations is so exciting.
It is. It is.
So where do you see this thing going in the next 5 years?
Ooh, I don't know. I really don't know. Obviously, the economy is
Sure.
huge. Electric cars are
Right.
huge. Being able to work on a car. I get frustrated when people say that about, oh, people aren't going to be able to work on cars or
Hmm.
do things. People are handier than what people give them
I
credit
agree.
for. The world of YouTube, the world of AI. Um, this young kid just clued me in on ChatGPT the other day. Wasn't sure what it was. I do know
Nice.
now know
Nice.
what it is. Um, but like people are trying to do things more. It does worry me, the economy. But we do better when it's a bad economy because people can't afford to have their cars serviced at a garage, a dealership, things like that. So with the knowledge they can get online and the assistance, they're willing to give it a try. Um, Definitely, I've learned something from my dad. In our business, and I'm sure every business is this way, it's a
Sure.
circle. And I'll use this for a good example. So our back wall of our store is all your car care stuff. And a couple years ago, I made the comment to my brother, wow, maybe we should downsize because this stuff is just not circulating. It is just
Yeah.
stale. And he's like, don't worry, it'll come around. Well, and it's my son's generation. So my son's
Interesting.
26. That generation definitely either does not clean their car or they go through car
Sure.
washes. So they're not buying the bucket, the sponge, the tire stuff, et cetera, et cetera. So now the kids that are like 18 to 20, oh, they buy that stuff like there's no tomorrow. I can't keep half that stuff on the shelf
Oh my
anymore.
gosh.
So it's definitely a big circle of like different generations of like like again, like my son's generation, and I don't know the whole like Gen Zs or whatever age group is what name, but being 26, my son is not interested in keeping a clean car or, and that's
Sure,
fine. Each
sure.
to their own. Um, but yeah, so now what I thought we should maybe downsize is flourishing. So yeah, and it actually happens that way with everything. Like everything is like this big circle.
That's an awesome
So yeah,
perspective. So, from the conversation that you had initially, like, hey, we need to downsize, to seeing the actual change, how many months or years was that?
about two.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah, about two. It is. It is. And it's funny the way like you'll get into a thing where everyone buys a new car. So then, everyone has a new car, like they don't really need anything, everything's under warranty. But then, well, and now you'll see that because now everyone's interest rates are going down and oh, you get 0% for
Right.
this. Um, when interest rates go up,
Right.
people aren't
Right
buying.
now, no one. Yeah.
So then they're repairing, they're buying the
Yes.
used, and people weren't buying used because used were so high. Well, now the price of used cars are
Finally.
coming down. Yeah, it's very funny, like like particularly our business, it's very it follows the calendar. So like back to school, people are worried about back to school. So we're definitely on the
Sure.
slower side. Well, then it kicks back up because now we're back to school. Now we need to like get ready for winter, stuff like that. Well, now we're hitting deer season. So now we're hunting, we're doing some different stuff. Um, so it'll be a little on the slower side. Like we're not a big like Black Friday store or anything of that nature. Um, so then it'll be Christmas. So people will, switch their focus. Well, then it's tax time. So then we'll kick back up because now people will get tax returns and then they'll repair their cars. And then it'll be winter time and people will need stuff. So yeah, it's very determinant on the time of year. The weather is
Oh, I bet.
huge on our business.
Because it
Yes.
gets
Yeah.
cold.
When it's very hot. Yeah. When it's very hot and it's very cold. And here in Pennsylvania, we have very
Yep.
diverse weather.
Yep.
Battery sales are through the roof. We do really well on battery
Nice.
sales. So yeah, so the weather is definitely a big factor for us, but so is the calendar. The calendar is huge on business.
Who would have thought? Angie, thank you for not giving me the bullshit LinkedIn answers. Before we wrap up, I think it's so important. What do you want people to remember about Thren's Auto Parts?
That we're here to help. Like we're here to help. So many people will come in and be like, I was so nervous, like especially young girls. They'll come in and they'll be like, you don't know how nervous I was to come in here. And now that I came in here, I'll come in here all the time. And actually, it's funny. One of my daughter's friends, who is one of our neighbors, actually said that to me. She said, I was so nervous to come in. And my boyfriend said, you go in and you talk to Angie. And this boy did not know that she was my neighbor.
Wow.
And she goes, well, they're my neighbors. And he's like, well, then why are you nervous to go in there? Like, I want you to come in because I treat you like my family. I treat you like my friend, we're here to help, and I just don't ever want people to feel like they don't have a place to go.
Absolute gold. Wow. Thank you so much, Angie. You're amazing. What
Thank you.
such a
Thank
legacy.
you.
Everything you're building, you and your brother. So proud that you were able to join us. This has been Yeet Talk, where people get honest. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.